Before I get started with football, I think it's pretty exciting with our men's soccer team. Ryan Hopkins and his team, I think they're ranked 13th, and they're going to get ready to go up to Seattle to play Washington, who I think is second or third ranked. But they're having a heck of a year, and I don't know Ryan well. I think he's only been here a couple years, but doing a hell of a job. So just wanted to say that. The Townsend game, a couple things. Number one, we got to give them some credit. And I think that's always something when you look at, and we talked about this as a team, they were hungry. They came in here ready. They started the way they needed to start. We gave them some hope because we didn't. But I think they're a well-coached football team. They're talented. They've had some guys who are transfers that I think showed up and did a good job for them. But I liked how we kept after it. I think we got to put at some point this season a full football game together of 60 minutes because we have not done that yet. And we got to start a little faster on both sides. Offensively, it's always great to start, but we got to do the same thing defensively. And there's some positives. We rushed for 281 yards. I thought the third quarter was our most complete quarter of the season from special teams, defense, and offense. I thought the block punt, and I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it. I think the block punt, Tyrell did a great job, exactly how you're coached. He's long and really it was a great block, and I thought it gave us a lot of energy. We won the time of possession, and then I can't say enough about Keegan Williams, Jordan Bird, Chance Bell, and then Jalen Armstead at the end. Those guys all did a great job for us. Some negatives, our poor start, and then the end of the half. On defense, into the second quarter, didn't think that was. We didn't complete it the way we needed to, and we've got to do better there.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll open it up for questions, and we'll start with Lee Hamilton.
Brady, can you give us an update on the health situation with Greg Bell? And does he have a fracture of the collarbone or just a bruise? And what's the status going forward for the next couple of weeks going towards New Mexico?
Yeah, I would say he'll be ready, Lee.
Mm-hmm. No fracture?
I don't discuss those things, Lee.
Well, you could try.
I know.
Hey, the growth of the defense. This is so dynamic what you're doing at each of the levels of defense you're playing. Has this surprised you to be able to execute this way?
The front seven, is a group that's kind of established themselves a little bit. But I think, Pat McMorris, I think, is a really good football player and really plays the Aztec position well. I think Noah Tumlin, and I also think Avenger, both of those guys have come in very competitive, very hungry. And I like how they've gone about their business in the back end. So, we expect more out of the front seven. I think that the guys in the back end are younger, but they're playing pretty well right now.
We've talked about the passing game and the success that Bellinger's had. How come he's not being targeted more and becoming more of an integral part of fixing the passing game?
Yeah, Lee, if you saw the game last week, Townsend wouldn't let him off the line of scrimmage. There were a couple of nakeds, a couple play actions that we had him specifically targeted, and big number 32 for them. He grabbed him on the line of scrimmage multiple times. So, yes, we need to get him, maybe not as in line as he is right now, get him outside of the core of the formation a little bit more.
Two other quick questions. Are you pleased with what you're trying to accomplish with the passing game? Is Lucas starting to master things, or is this still a great unknown?
I think we're getting better. I really do. Just on some of the throws, we overthrew Tyrell, which would have been a shot that we need to hit some of those during the course of a game to back people off. But I think we're growing within it. I think it's adjusted a little bit because of our personnel.
And a final question for me. Is it weird to get ready to play the guy that has the patent on this defense, Rocky, New Mexico? Or are you better served because you've been practicing against his defense for years?
I don't know. I can't answer that. It's really not the defense. It's the guys. It's the guys playing defense.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We'll go to Andre.
Hey, Coach. Makai Shaw got his first start as receiver this past game after converting from a corner this spring. Can you talk about how fast he's progressed and how bright his future is?
Yeah, Andre, he is number one. He is an unbelievable young man. He comes to work every day. He's got a smile on his face. I mean, I get to screw around with him a little bit while he's catching punts with Coop. So I get to know him a little bit. All those guys, those specialists that way a little more. And I'm really excited about what he brings to us as a football program. And, his athletic ability is really what we were looking for.
And then, some teams typically may have a second bye week later in the season, which you guys don't. Does your bye week plans this week change, knowing that you've got 8 games in 8 weeks coming up and potentially 9-9 in the Mountain West Championship?
Yeah, that's what we're counting on. You know what? It's got to be a championship run. I mean, every game's important. Obviously, being undefeated right now is great. That's all wonderful. But we've got to learn how we need to win a championship by what we've done to this point.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Andre. We'll go to Julian.
Hey, Coach. Hope you've been well. I want to talk about your special teams specifically. You always talk about all 3 assets of the game, but your special teams over the last 4 games have just been stellar. Just anything in the water up there on campus?
No, you know what? I think Julian, I think Doug Deacon does a great job cultivating guys on special teams, if that makes sense, and how he presents a game plan. I mean, Deke is, he's got a lot of pride in being an Aztec. He does an unbelievable job in his teaching. And I think the guys, because of the energy that Deke puts into it, I think it makes them want to play better, they play harder, almost for Deke.
I want to talk about Matt being named Mountain West Special Teams Player of the Week. Just his ability to flip the field. How much of an advantage does that give you guys defensively from pinning a team so far into their own red zone?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think multiple games, obviously, this year where Matt's been able to change the field and really help the defense. And he at times could be the defensive player of the game because of what he's done with changing the field.
I also just want to ask, it is a bye week. What Mountain West game will you have on this Saturday?
That's a good question. Probably New Mexico. That'd probably be a good one to look at.
All right. Enjoy it. Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks, Julian. We'll go to Paul.
Good to talk recruiting a little bit. According to Coach G yesterday, social media, the coaches are going to be hitting up San Diego this week. why was it important to start in San Diego with the bye week recruiting? And how many schools approximately are you guys going to be able to go visit?
Well, number one, the blueprint for us and us being successful is the quality of talent and the guys within this area in San Diego, and obviously Southern California has to be a great blueprint for us. But, you look at San Diego itself and, the number of good football players and really well coached football teams in this area. So, we'll always try, and it's been a little different because of COVID, obviously, but we'll always start in San Diego, and we would love to keep every guy here, every guy that we feel fits our blueprint of what we're looking for as a football player.
Could you talk a little bit just about your philosophy between balancing in-season recruiting with the season that you have in front of you?
We'll do, we're going to take advantage this week, as much as possible. Our guys will be, in San Diego today, tomorrow, and then they'll hit Thursday and Friday their main areas of recruiting, and really go see guys play who we have a vested interest in, obviously. But we'll try and get as much as we can, Paul, with San Diego these today and tomorrow.
The last question, just kind of building off what Andres was asking. When a player like Shaw is able to, kind of come up through the depth chart and produce on the field, what does that do for the culture of the team?
Well, I think other guys see it. I think guys, it just doesn't happen because he's a pretty good athlete. It happens because of how he practices and how he works and how he learns. And, he's got a lot of pride in who he is. And for a guy who's walked on here, he's done a great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Paul. We'll go to Kirk.
Hey, Brady, when the assistants spread out recruiting this week, is the priority to kind of touch base with guys who've already committed or to extend to guys that you're still trying to get?
Yeah, Kirk, I think it's more of going to guys who we're waiting on, that we're recruiting hard and either watching them play or just making a presence known, right, in the high school. But obviously, in saying that, we will obviously go see some guys who are already committed to us. But, we want to maximize our time and use it efficiently.
And will you guys be beyond California, like Nevada, New Mexico, and Texas as well?
Those are all good football states, and yes, we will.
All right. I believe you have about a dozen commitments right now. And we talked about before, how many high schoolers do you think you'll be targeting out of, say, 25 in the past? Because we had talked about because of the portal now.
Yeah.
How much more of a focus is the portal on getting guys than just the high school kids?
Well, I think you'll see everybody save a few because of the portal. If you got 25, maybe you sign 18, 19, and you take 6, and put them towards the portal.
And I believe there's some NCAA legislation that's going to let you have more than 25. Where does that stand at this point, and how will that impact you guys?
Well, it will impact us. It depends because it's going to be by school, right? It's going to be, where you're at from a financial standpoint, school-wise.
And is there also a component on how many guys leave to some degree?
Yeah, well, to some degree, we've got some guys who, we've had conversations and will have even more conversations with who wants to come back and who we're going to bring back.
Okay. Also, I know you don't like to talk about injuries, but could you talk about what happened with Kobe Smith? That seemed like something serious that is
Yeah.
non-football related.
Yeah, he was. He was coming here for his check-in after the game. Everybody come to see the trainers and got T-boned. Craig Smith, who's on our staff, was there and called us and called Hunk, and Hunk went there, and obviously everything turned out as good as it could. Better than it could, because it could have been really bad. You look at the car, you look at the pictures, could have been really bad.
And how's he doing? And what's it looking like for his return?
He's doing okay right now. I don't think we're thinking yet down the road for his return yet.
And it sounds like, I mean, I haven't heard all the details, but it sounds like he was not at fault. But how do what are you talking to the team about things like that? And you want them to obviously be as safe as they can, but in situations like that, what do you say?
That he's lucky to be alive, and cherish what you have. It's one of those things, but it was bad, Kirk. I mean, it was a bad deal.
Right. And this is different, but also related. In talking to your players, a couple of players over the weekend, Utah and Washington State, were shot in party situations. Did you also take those incidents, and did you talk to the team about some of those things at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we always, try and, anything that comes out nationally, we need to make sure that we're talking with our guys about.
And so you did, in those incidents, did you talk to them about them?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
More the Utah one.
And because you had just played Utah, or why did
that
hit
you more? That hit me a little more.
I mean, these kids, obviously, we were all young at one time. What do you say to them that you think will hope resonate and stay with them?
This is a whole different world than when you and I grew up. I can promise you that.
So do you tailor your message differently? What do you say?
Yes, yeah, exactly what I just said. It's a lot different. You don't know what people are thinking. You don't know who's carrying a gun, who's not.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Kirk. We go to Andrew.
Hey, Coach. Going into the bye week 4-0, is there a certain mindset going into this bye week, knowing that you're undefeated?
Well, the biggest thing is, we want to do a good job a couple different ways. Number one, we want to rest some of those guys who have played a lot of plays. We've got a significant number of guys on defense and offense. We want to try and get them the best we can, rested up, a little fresher. And then we also don't want to lose our speed that we play with and our timing that we play with. So it's a little bit of both. I thought yesterday went very well, and we weren't out maybe 45, 50 minutes. But I think we took care of what we needed to. We'll be out maybe an hour today, an hour 5. And then we'll practice tomorrow. So we're going to give them, the weekend off. We'll lift on Thursday and Friday, and then we'll get back at it on Monday.
And going into the bye week, 2 weeks before Mountain West Conference play, what do you think is the biggest change or the biggest adjustment you guys need to make before going into conference play?
Well, I think, we on both sides of the ball, we've done a self-scout. How many times have we run this front and this coverage? Marry that with the down and distance. Same thing offensively. Have we, and there's things that, believe me, we have not shown yet, because we were waiting till we get into conference play.
Yeah, get in the huddle, self-scout.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Andrew. Looking for any final questions for Coach? We'll go back to Paul.
Coach, on the incident with Kobe Smith, his mom was very, very, she offered a lot of praise towards you and your staff. Could you just speak towards being able to be there at that moment of need and the relationship that Coach Coop has been able to develop with the family over the years?
Yeah, well, number one, Coop, with all his players, has always fostered a really strong relationship. Me coming in here in 19 and not knowing Kobe much, and particularly that first year, just coaching the D-line, but him and I have gotten closer. He lives with Keyshawn, who I'm pretty close with. And so, that's why you got into coaching, though. That's why I got into coaching, to help guys grow. To remind guys that the world has changed and things are different. Help them appreciate for the moments that you have as a football player, and how lucky you are that you've been blessed this way. I mean, that's what this job's about, and that will help them grow.
And then just a question on the quarterbacks. Assuming that Jordan can get back healthy, how is that decision going to be made about who is going to start against New Mexico?
Yeah, well, I think Jordan, has made some great progress. I thought he threw the ball pretty good yesterday. So as we move forward, we'll make sure we nail it down.